EGM Network.
Honestly, without Treasure Coast Community Health, I think we'd be a much poorer community in terms of our health. We're always striving to fill the gap for everyone in the community, rich or poor.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Community Conversations. Every week I come before you with a guest or three so that we can talk about things primarily related to health, since Treasure Coast Community Health is a primary care organization that provides medical, dental, behavioral health, optometry, pharmacy, you name it. We really work hard to make our services available to everyone, regardless of their ability to pay, and convenient as well. But we know we can't do it alone. There's a lot of wonderful nonprofits in our organizational boundaries here in Indian River County that help us do those things, and today is no exception. Today we have a new guest, Patrick Sullivan, who is here on the auspices officially of the Vero Beach Lifeguard Association.
Yes.
But we were talking a little bit ahead of time. You actually are a lifeguard as well as part of the association. We'll talk a little bit more about those distinctions. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Long intro, wasn't it?
Not too bad.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the Lifeguard Association.
So the association was started in 2011, and with efforts to support lifeguarding and water safety in the community, and also to provide equipment where, you know, certain governments fall short and getting that in the budget. So you act as a fundraiser for those types of things? Yes.
Okay.
So, raising money for, kayaks, because maybe kayaks weren't in the budget. And that, so we Eric, whenever Eric Toomsu started it, he was really good at getting people together, and he was our leader. And then whenever he left,
how dare he retire and
well, he didn't really retire. He kind of was forced out, his job was taken away. But
okay, we aren't going to go there.
Yeah, so
ancient history.
Yeah, so getting kayaks, because whenever somebody's out swimming to the wreck, we've had to go out there and help assist people bring them back in, and
that's a long way out to the
we have the rescue boards. And the rescue boards, that's the lifeguard equipment. That's
those
the
two
USLA.
are the main things.
Yep. So, but the kayak isn't. That's a little. If it's rough, you probably don't want to try to take the kayak out there, the ocean kayak, because now you have.
It flips all around, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then now you have another object in the water that if it gets detached from you.
Okay.
So the rescue board's a little easier to handle.
So what kinds of things have the Lifeguard Association focused their recent efforts on?
Mostly the youth and the schools go into extended day programs and talking to the kids, telling them about the beach flags.
Okay.
Telling them about
Pretty
man of
important.
wars.
Yeah.
And because our biggest things, besides rip currents and waves, of course, and the seas are, man of wars. We get a lot of jellyfish and man of wars, mainly man of wars. We have had a couple of seasons where the jellyfish bloom. They're like clear jellyfish. They come in. I've read they're not really they don't affect a lot of people, but there was a lot of people getting affected by them. So
for those of us that are completely clueless about the differences between a man of war and jellyfish, does one have tentacles?
They both have tentacles. Some jellyfish don't, but the man of wars you'll know because they're purple and blue.
Okay.
And they're really attractive looking. So we go to the schools, and surprisingly, a lot of the kids, love the beach. They know. They always ask, okay, the green flag, and they'll say the yellow flag, red flag, and we can talk about the same thing here too, because I know I've been there, and the teachers or the extended day program volunteers, workers, they're like, I didn't know that.
So tell us a little bit more about the flag system as you go down to the beach waters.
So we have a tower that will have a flagpole, and we display the ocean condition. So this is just for the ocean.
Okay.
And we have that sign too at every beach access. And they also have them at other spots, like Mulligan's or Costa de Este. They'll have the flag system there. So
Okay.
So that's when you get down to the beach, you'll see the flag. And if you see a green flag, we tell the kids, and that's the
Green is
perfect
go.
day
Yeah.
to get in the water. It's really not really green mean go, but it's a good day to get in the water because there's no risks of rip currents or surf, because you still got other sea life out there that you got to pay attention for. But for the most part, green is definitely a good day to be at the beach. And we've had parents come up to the tower and say, yeah, is the flag going to change to green? Because, I don't let my kids in the water unless it's a green flag.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I can change it to green, but it's not going to change the ocean condition. So that's, that's a good day. And then the yellow flag is, that's one day that you want to keep your head on a swivel because, you could show up to the beach and it might be low tide and the wind's a little calmer, but then tide starts coming in, the wind picks up as the sun moves higher in the sky. And then now you got a different condition, and it's not, dangerous, but it's not red flag, stay out of the water, but it can still all of a sudden change. And then
particularly not a good day or opportunity to chit chat with your neighbors, the other adults, and ignore what the kids are doing in the water is what I hear you saying.
Yes, that we see that a lot where, that's one of the things about a guarded beach, because we can talk about the different types of beaches. And a guarded beach is where we have a specific area that a lifeguard is responsible for, and the county and the city have them. And then there's also patrolled beaches where the patrolled beaches, there's no specific guarded area, but there's going to be a lifeguard patrolling the beach.
Oh.
So in that system...
Is that more for rescues?
That is just a busier beach, so places like Daytona, but I'm aware of where I started lifeguarding in 2015 in Okaloosa County in Fort Walton Beach. They have, 2 tides a day and the tides of half a foot maybe. So the beach is always accessible, and they have pretty wide beaches. So we are able to, patrol up and down the beach. And if there are a bunch of, people in front of this hotel, then we'll go hang out down there. And there's no rhyme or reason. It's just kind of actively patrolling.
An extra set of eyes.
Because there's, over there in Fort Walton, there's condos, kind of like the spires we have here. And they're just...
one after another
they're
after
just
another.
littered all over the beach.
Okay.
And you got, 500,000 people in one of them. And
a lot of opportunity for accidents to happen then, statistically.
yes.
Okay.
And whenever, when I said the weather changes in the afternoon or just when the winds pick up, the surf can pick up, and then the rip currents will be created.
Yeah, and it amazes me. It shouldn't, but I always feel bad when Northerners come down and, we're water people, but not familiar with the rip tides. And so knowing how to deal with that, oftentimes they don't, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, the rip currents, people call them rip tides, rip currents, but it's really, a body of water, a current going back out to sea. And and then some people will say undertow as well, but undertows is a little different because there's, on the bottom of the ocean, there's always like a natural flow going, like pulling it out.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the undertow, and that can get strong too. But also with the rip current, they can form like that because water is like electricity. It follows a path of least resistance.
Okay.
So wherever the weakest spot on the beach, that water's, especially if a lot of water, like a red flag day, you want to stay out because all that water's moving up the beach and then moving back down the beach. And when it finds that spot, see at South Beach, we have one that's in front of the South volleyball nets. That's pretty stationary. And you'll find some stationary around piers, around jetties, just because how the beach is shaped. And
is it almost like a depression in the sand that allows it to flow back there?
Yeah, you'll see low spots all over the beach if you if you take walks in the morning. I know we get a lot of walkers on our beaches, and you'll see these low spots, and you can see a tiny rip current on a really small day with the waves. I mean, you'll see the water going right. You'll see it just
if you're aware of it.
Yeah,
so thank you for that explanation.
So yeah, and it's just a plume of water that has a neck, and then the body goes out into the ocean, and it'll just kind of circle back to the waves will push up, and then
right. So the idea is to get out of that by swimming parallel to the beach itself?
Yes. Yeah, you want to take the shore, and most days there's going to be, if it's a straight east wind, then you probably, you could swim either direction, but most days there's going to be a swell direction. So most of the time for us, it's a east-northeast swell. So you'd probably want to swim south so you're not fighting that little bit of a
resistance.
Yep. So you can definitely just swim, but I tell everybody to, remain calm. So, because that's the biggest thing. Whenever people panic, you forget a lot of things. I mean, as an adult, I've definitely panicked, and I shouldn't panic.
Well, it's a natural human emotion.
Yeah, so it's hard to do because, I've, just training and been in the water, you jump in, you let the rip current take you, because if we actually go rescue, I was learned in training, jump in that rip current, because that's the quickest way out there.
Oh, out to them.
And
that's another interesting aspect that I'm sure most people don't consider. If it's so dangerous, why are the lifeguards doing it? But again, that rescuing seconds count. I'm going to let you take just a moment while we turn it over to a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Thank you. TreasureCoast Community Health in-house pharmacies have the lowest prices in Indian River County, even lower than big box pharmacies. Taking your medication as prescribed leads to better health. Affordable medicine makes it easier. TreasureCoast Community Health patients can pick up medicine as they leave the office or use free delivery and mail order services. Pharmacists are always available to answer questions. Switch to TCCH pharmacies. Save money, stay healthy. 772-257-8224 and ask about our price match.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats and chairs, and all the latest styles and colors from Tommy Bahama, Lexington, Hooker, Riverside, Universal Coastal Living, Four Seasons, Braxton Color, and Capri. We're also the outdoor furniture experts and have hundreds of styles of any patio furniture you need, including a gallery of Berlin Gardens and Pollywood. We specialize in fire pits, outdoor rugs, umbrellas, and replacement cushions. Right now, we're having a spring sale with lots of great markdowns and discounts on everything you need for your Florida home, including all pictures, lamps, and accessories half price. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Don't forget to visit our outlet store directly across the street, filled with lots of brand name closeouts and sale items. And visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Bar out! It's Downtown Disco, presented by GHO Homes. Boogie on over to downtown Vero Beach for this fab-free street party with live music by Soul Time, plus kids games, beer, food trucks, and prizes. Don't be a jive turkey. Be ready to groove from 6 to 9. You dig? Admission is free. Sponsored by GHO Homes, Sandpiper Pest Control, and Millennium Cremation Service. It's Downtown Disco, a Main Street Vero Beach event. Friday, April 25th at 6 p.m. in downtown Vero Beach.
And welcome back to Community Conversations. If you're just joining me, my name is Vicki Soule. I'm the CEO of TreasureCoast Community Health, where we provide primary care to all individuals, regardless of their ability to pay. We do that with fantastic staff that take really good care of all of our patients. And as you might be able to tell, I have a little bit of a sore throat, a little gravelly voice, so I apologize in advance if I get a coughing spasm. I'm here today with Patrick Sullivan, who is both a lifeguard and I guess the lead guy now for Vero Beach Lifeguard Association. And I asked you earlier what kinds of things you're currently, as a group, working towards. And you talked about the children and teaching them. So I didn't think we explored that enough. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about the ages, what kinds of things you teach them? We just had a whole discussion, which was fascinating to me, about rip currents or rip tides. At what point do you introduce that to our Florida children as you go out to the school systems?
So first and foremost, we always, going to the beach is, way.
But
It's, before,
safety.
you learn, if you don't know how to swim, I mean, I have seen people, have life vests, and that may be okay in your mind, but if you have some surf, then you get toppled with a life vest on. So getting to swim,
Sorry.
getting the kids to learn to swim I found it to be a challenging task because there's not a lot of water safety instructors
Very true.
that can handle, the amount of kids that, need to be taught because it's not like you have one session. They're going to maybe need 5 sessions, and that's going to be, probably on a weekly basis. There's a lot more involved whenever I was looking into it. And the biggest thing I found was,
not enough certified instructors.
yeah, Mrs. Barber Swim. She's been around a long time. I mean, there's
Christie's. Are they doing instructions now?
Yeah, they do, and I believe
North County has
North County
swim.
And
coming
then
up.
we have, I know at Leisure Square, the city has the infant swim instructor. So
Very important.
yeah, they learn how to swim as an infant. Yeah, I think that's probably the best time to get the kids in the water.
Well, our Rotary Club does a Josh the Otter program every year. And this year we went out to visit the 3 and 4-year-olds in the preschools, instructed about 700 kids. The first thing they need to do is remember to always have an adult and to learn how to float. Because unfortunately, the biggest cause of death of 3 and 4-year-old little boys is drowning. They're curious, they're fast. Parents think that they're going to use good judgment, but it takes very little to drown. And so these children are very much at risk. So we encourage parents to follow up by getting swimming lessons. But as you say, there's a vacancy in the number of opportunities as well as the cost factor.
Yeah, definitely the cost. I mean, there's always costs associated with it. And I know, and the instructors, so you got to find an instructor to teach you to become an instructor.
Right.
So there's a lot of, red tape.
Oh, and I forgot about Float Hopes. That group is working with, I believe, 5 years and up. And they actually teach them not only to swim, but to swim competitively. And so it's a lifetime habit that they're, but again, as a nonprofit, they're looking for community support. And it's a wonderful thing to support. So how many of you guys go out to the schools and help with after-school programs?
Right now, it's just been my wife and I.
Oh, my.
And
I'll bet you're looking for volunteers then.
oh, yeah.
Don't have to be a lifeguard, but somebody who could engage the kids in safety factors?
Yes.
Okay. And how would they go about letting you know they were interested?
Well, they can go to our website. It's vbla.org.
Okay.
And they get in touch that way.
Okay. Very good. And so is this year-round that you go out with, as long as the school's in session?
Yes, we've done it the past 3 years. And I go to extended day because I was trying to go and get actual, time
Class time.
during the classes, but that's, the curriculum and
Very difficult.
so,
yeah.
And the kids like it. I like the extended day because the kids like it. They get a break from, because I go to these lunch rooms and
They're a little
kids,
chaotic at
yeah,
times.
I mean, they've just been in school for, whatever, 7 hours. And now they're getting yelled at by more. It's like, let's just let them have fun. And
Yeah. So if someone was interested but didn't have experience in working with kids relative to swim safety, could you train them?
Well, see, I don't think so. I mean, because swimming, that's, like I said, is you got to be certified to be it. So
Okay.
it's really
Other lifeguards, perhaps, that are no longer lifeguarding?
yeah. See, I don't know many, because
Help me out here, Patrick. I'm trying to get you volunteers.
I know I'm trying to think of how to go about that.
So if anyone has a suggestion, a solution, again, please reach out and contact Patrick. This group has dwindled down since Eric left, and I know that he could use more help. I'm not sure who it is or how it will happen, but certainly on an education basis, prevention is the biggest thing that we can offer our kids. And
getting them used to the water at an early age, because the longer you go without getting in the water, the more terrifying it becomes.
Absolutely. And we know way too many adults that have never gotten into the pool or into the water.
Yeah, I mean, it's just anything. You get introduced at a young age to something positive. I mean, then it's just going to stick with you.
So are there groups for high schoolers or college kids that will teach lifeguarding as well, or water safety? Do we have that resource here in the county?
I haven't ventured into the high school or even junior high. And that's one thing that we've been struggling in the lifeguard community since I started in 2015. And I'm guessing since before that is getting qualified candidates to come out to training or come out to see if they can pass the test. So it's, we had, I think when I started, there was, 19 spots, and then and 19 guys showed up. Yeah, because it's a seasonal position up there for the summertime.
Okay.
But 19 people showed up, and only 17 people made it through, I think. Maybe we lost a couple people because it was pretty intense training. Mm-hmm. And I think
so
with
if you love
phones,
water, it's definitely an option, particularly for younger college kids.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see a lot of college kids maybe going into nursing. They have, they have a swimming background, or they're going into the medical field. And they love the beach. So that's, but the biggest thing we're fighting against is, the cell phone technology, TikTok, and all these
Sit around
stimulating things
that don't require the physical exertion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you're right. We have a number of people in the medical community that are going on for training, and they do want to stay active. And swimming is one of the most, one of the healthiest things that you can do.
Yeah, and it's probably one of the most difficult too, if you think about it. I mean, because you're using every single muscle in your body, every movement, just stay above water.
And yet we're surrounded with so many wonderful water-based activities. Again, talk to your children and your grandchildren. This is an opportunity for you to explore life in Florida to its fullest. And Patrick, I really appreciate you coming in and sharing and talking with us today. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, thank you.
Anytime. So we will be back next week, as always, with another wonderful guest. There's just a wonderful opportunity to learn something new every time we come on board. I know I do, and I hope you do as well. So thank you very much for being with us today. Tell your friends and family to tune in Saturday at 4:30 every week while you're here visiting or living. So thank you again. Bye-bye now.